Welcome to Toffee TV. It is Wednesday. That means it is club call time.
It is.
This is your opportunity to give us a call. Get your views heard. The
Oh.
link is on our Patreon. The link is there. It's free anywhere, like literally anywhere in the world. Anywhere.
So call in.
It's free to call in. You just click the link and go through the link, and you'll be talking to us in the studio. So patrons, get involved. If you're not a patron, become a patron and get involved.
Like, let me just address a couple of these just very quickly in the YouTube comments, just quickly before we get onto the thing. Ian Deco says points deduction looks inevitable. What next? There isn't going to be a points deduction, so there we go. James says, so are we getting a points deduction? No, we're not. Just going through a few of them quickly. There won't be any points deduction for Everton. If Everton get any kind of sanctions, I imagine it will be a fine, and it'll be one of them. And maybe your 25-man squad reduced to 23, which is what
we do that on our own.
We do it on our own.
Just keep Fabian Delph, because he reduces the squad on his own.
Yeah, so it's everywhere. That, I mean, that, you know, the club are confident on that. So, and it'd be laughable if there was any way they actually tried to do any kind of points deduction after the Super League debacle, where them clubs just got a little pat on the bum. Carry on.
I could see themselves trying, but the problem is that Everton and the league, as we've been told, have a deal in place where they basically check on our homework.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You know, every night.
Bit of red pen every now and again. Yeah.
And if we steer too far away, they're there to correct it.
To go,
you know,
right,
they
you're
put
in
us.
trouble. Yeah,
you need to get back in your lane, lads. And apparently, when in the January market, that was something that was discussed all the time. Was making sure that we stayed in our lane.
Okay.
And that, listen, we've all cried a little bit, not cried maybe, but we've all been a little bit angry at the times about getting rid of Luca Dean and whatever another. It might have been the case that Luca Dean might have been the selling that might have kept us in the lane.
Yeah,
you know, for all we know. I know Everton would never want to come out and say that, but it might have been the sale of Luca Dean that might have kept us in our lane for FFP to make it that we could to bring people in.
I imagine there will be sales, and a sale at least in the summer, which will keep us there again. So we've just got to, let's hope we do enough to stay up, which I'm sure we will, just about, maybe. We'll see, we'll massively see. Okay, where are we here? And okay, Terry Mack says, evening gents, enjoying business with Blaine as ever, but switched from that video to this one. Not sure if it's covered later in the show.
Terry, don't say any more. Terry, if you want something covered, call us. That's how you get it covered, by you calling us. We don't just talk about it. This is a phone in. I don't even know why Baz is reading the comments.
Tez, come on,
talk sport.
You know the score. Get on it. The link's there. Just click it,
and
off we go.
This is a calling show.
Off we go.
I want to hear your voices. We're not here to sit and comment. We're here for you to call in and have yours. And I think Astro has done that.
The straw is here.
Nerd.
Yes.
There he is. There's Astro. He's there.
He's there. He's ready.
Yes, I have done.
He is there.
Yeah. No, I mean it's you know what, it kicked off early this morning. I mean, you know, I woke up this morning and I see all these news articles about, you know, all this. It was like all the Copite journalists got together in their clubhouse with all their banners and everything, and your Never Walk Alone record playing, and got their plan together about how they were going to write these hit pieces on Everton. And listen, at the end of the day, right, like they're twisting a narrative that we've left as a club flapping in the breeze because we haven't addressed it. We haven't got out ahead of it. We haven't seized the initiative. And listen, this is not a freshly discovered problem with Everton Football Club. I mean, you know, they wouldn't know the narrative if it walked in the room, straddled their face, and busted a wet fart. You know, but at the end of the day, okay, these are all things that we're well aware of. And I have to, like, kind of, like, when you're in a situation that we are as Evertonians in regard to the condition that the club is in, the way the team's performing, and our position in the table, listen, if an airliner was crashing, would you run up to the cockpit and start slapping the pilot in the back of the head? No. You're going to let him do his job to try to get everything righted, okay? So, like, we don't need to get a helmet fire right now. We have to address the most immediate danger in the room, and the most immediate danger in the room is, and still is, our position in the table. Because all these financial issues that, that Simon Jordan got taken to school by the ESC this morning, on Twitter, where he basically was like swatting away Simon Jordan's, attacks like a Jedi. He was cool. He was calm as the other side. I mean, he was cool as the other side of the pillow. And he was giving him facts. What happens in this situation is you speak facts to these twisted narratives. And you focus on the position that we're in regards to the table. This is the emergency that we address right now. It's the most immediate and most dangerous one, because we have a deal with the Premier League. Like Ped said, they're grading our homework. They're making sure that we're dotting our I's, crossing our T's, and not spending our lunch money on soda. You know what I'm saying? They're making sure that we're doing everything right, okay? So what we have to do is we have to get to the summer, and then we can start addressing the other elephants in the room, of which there is no shortage. And listen, like, I have to say this, like, we as fans, we are the 12th man, okay? Whether you're a wool like me over in Georgia, or whether you're, like pedigree like you guys going to the match and being there, like, in first person supporting the team. Like, right now, we have to ask a question about reputation and character, okay? Your reputation is what everybody thinks you are, okay? Your character is what you really are, all right? And when it comes to us as fans, we have a reputation of being loud when we need to be recently, and we need to live up to that reputation with the superb character that is what sets Evertonians apart from everybody else. It's why 20 of us are worth that's why one of them, one of us is worth more than 20 of them, okay? I'll get it right in a second.
Yeah, you're there now.
What we have to ask ourselves is, can our players, okay, with their reputation as capitulation artists, listen, there are folding chairs that have been wore out from too much use that look at our team and the way they fold on the field, and they're jealous of their form. I mean, they make it look easy. Like I said, they're capitulation artists. That's their reputation. But what I have to ask is that their character? And is their character something different to what we see? And if it is, okay, that's their personal responsibility to prove it on the pitch through their efforts. Now, I mean, I'm not going to like say, that we're going to make it look easy, but I think if these players show the true fiber of their fabric and the quality of their character, we're going to get the points we need, and we're going to just stay up. But they can't do it without Goodison being absolutely lit. Yeah. And I know that I'm going to do everything I can to support from afar, and I know that everybody there is going to do the best they can to support the team vocally. But at the end of the day, this is, I hate to say this, but this is like, it's another day in Everton. The journalists are coming for us. The house is on fire. The club's silent, and the players aren't performing. But you know what? We're cool. We can handle it. And we just, I don't know, hold fast. Hold fast, everybody. Keep doing what you're doing, and let's take this thing 1 week at a time. And that's all we can do until May gets here.
Yeah. I think just going back onto the point you were saying there about the fans and stuff, I think the club have got to start trusting the fans and stop asking for the fans to do
their job.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we are gonna, of course, go the game, and we're gonna, in these games, we're gonna try and replicate what we did against Leeds and to a degree against Manchester City. I think the manager and the club have got to stop sort of asking that of us. There's got to be like almost like trust on both ways. Like, it's great coming out going, we need the fans behind. We'll be there and we'll be behind the team. I imagine now, no problem, because we know what's worth. Can you start doing your job, please? Can you start doing what we expect of you? Yeah, you keep on asking of us, but what about, can you start doing your side of the bargain? So I want to see that as well. Just because I want it to just be taken for granted that when fans go, and of course that comes down to the fans going to the game and doing that, of course. But going back to your other point, it is just partly on season, mate. That's what it is. You just get this all the time where everything has been compounded in the last few weeks. We are a big story, of course. everyone is jumping on us because of the financials and because we got beat at Monday was the excuse to go after us because
season, that money.
Once you get beat 5-0, it gives everyone an excuse. The told you so people about the appointment and all this. Not that I've heard anyone say that about like it's dead weird, right? Because I was just literally looking at the screen then while you were talking. It was quite weird, Sependirius. And Jesse Marsh was on the screen. He's just took over as Leeds manager. Now, as a manager, appointing him with what they've got 11 games left.
To go, yeah.
Does he strike anybody as the right fit to get Leeds out of trouble? Like, I'm not saying he's not a good manager, and he's an American manager, and they normally get laughed at. Let's be honest, which is not fair, but they do because that's the way our stereotypical media treat them. Yeah, I haven't heard a word about. They got beat 1-0 at the weekend, and I haven't heard a word about them. It's all positive. Yeah, Frank Lampard came in as our manager, and straight away he was getting questioned. Hasn't done anything. I mean, so he didn't manage Derby, and he didn't manage Chelsea to the Champions League. And I'm not saying that makes him the right man or the right fit. Time will tell. I'm not going to jump to any kind of conclusions on that till way down the line. But then you add this onto it, and then people go, see, he told you he wasn't the right man, and Everton are doomed, and the stadium mightn't be happening, and points is going to get taken off them. And it's like, and you're right what you said before, it's an excuse for some Liverpool supporting or Liverpool-based journalists to just pile on the football club. And I would love to know what the actual spark is of why. Is it because we are a big club? Is it because these journalists have had abuse off our fans? Is it because the club are, in terms of media, not very good, and therefore this gives them a chance to write something about the club? I don't really know, but the last couple of days, it's not just been one story, it's been 3 or 4
different... Daily Mail, though.
I know. But it's like piling on. And what makes it worse is, a lot of the stories are just like, the headline is the grabber, and the stuff in it's fluff. Well, this might happen, this might happen.
They had the Dominic King one, which was like Everton are going into the abyss, or Everton drop on like a stone with Lampard. And then his opening 2 paragraphs are, you can't put any blame on Frank Lampard for any of this. I was like, well, hang on, your headline is making it out like it's all Lampard's fault. And then you spend the most of your article saying it's got nothing to do with Lampard, this. Yeah. It's just, it's a load of bollocks, and that's what it is, mate, and we're just an easy target at the moment.
It's negative clickbait, okay? And I'm going to tell you something. My journalism professor from back in the late 90s would have ripped these people to pieces. He would have ripped these articles to pieces because he would look at them and say, where are your facts?
Yeah.
Who are your sources? Where are your facts? Listen, I've had to answer so many texts today from people that I've interacted with on Twitter, friends of mine here in the States that know I follow the football and know of Everton and their plight and everything. And I have had to tell people, yes, the stadium is being built. Okay. Are we in trouble financially? Yes, we're not a very well-run football club, but we've got an agreement in place with the Premier League. Everything is sorted. Okay. No, we're not going to lose points. Did the crap 6 get any points deducted? No. And because they didn't get any points deducted, you established a standard. So anything short of open treason is not going to lose you points. Or if it does, they violated the standard that they set in the way they behaved in regard to the punishment of those 6 teams when they tried to break away. Okay? So at the end of this, and Ped, you actually nailed something, right? The club keeps asking for the fans. Don't they know that they're in the overdraft with us right now? Like, we're giving them every ounce of goodwill, patience, and energy we've got. That club and those players, by God, owe every one of us some effort. They owe it to us now, folks. This is a deficit they're operating in. They owe the banks. They owe everybody. They owe us. And they're lucky that we're still, those 3,000 fans didn't go down to Spurs on Monday night to boo, did they? No, they went down there to support a club who literally gave up. And I don't know, it's a troubling situation. But again, I'm just going to come back to the very simple fact I said is we take it week by week. We get everything straight this week. We ignore the noise and we focus on Wolves. we've got to get some points, and that's the end of that's the name of the game is snatching points and crushing dreams at this point. Hopefully not our own. So
no, that's it. That's the name of the game, mate. That's the top and bottom of it. Got to beat Wolves on Sunday.
Aye. So top rant as always.
Some good points.
Thanks for having me, guys. I want to just plug this again. I just want to plug this again. I want to plug it one more time. Listen, for the price of a pint, which will satisfy your thirst for half an hour, you get 30 days of Toffee TV, baby. So you need to reach into couch cushions and find them pens and pounds and pence and get these boys supported, because y'all have been my sanity this year, and I appreciate the hard work.
Cheers, mate.
Top man. Take care, mate. Speak soon.
See you in a bit. Bye.
Cheers, Tarani.
See ya.
I just want. There's a couple here. In
go on.
Okay. First one, I don't really understand this one. From LP, Ancelotti couldn't do anything with these players. Fair comments. Benitez couldn't. Fair comments. Agreed. Big Sam would keep Everton up. Okay, but we haven't got him. It's on Lampard if Everton go down.
No,
I don't. I disagree with that comment. I think your first bits are absolutely correct, but it's the players who play the game. EFC Graham says, we are an easy touch at the moment. The media creates stories that only have a tinge of truth. It sells papers, gets people ringing in. If we can get some sort of form, we'll move away and shut them up. Absolutely. It is open season. And Jenny says, today has broken me. We could go down this year, be Derby next year, and we could literally be a League One club. No, Jen, I think you might be broken by the stories, but bear in mind, most of them stories are just nonsense. We could go down. Of course we could. We don't get enough points, we're going to get relegated. But as for the Derby stuff and this will happen and that will happen and it's the end is nigh and all that, ignore all that. Brian Farrell says, I agree, it's Lamp's responsibility. So if Lampard keeps us up, then he's the best manager ever then, isn't he? Because people will lump on him if we go down. So he's got to get all the plaudits that ever will be. There's
only one person's fault if Everton go down.
It's Farhad
Moshiri. When are people going to start realising this? This man has systematically destroyed Everton Football Club with the help of Bill Kenwright. I'm not asked
from bad decisions.
I'm not asked what anybody wanted. Rafa Benitez
making.
was his manager, right? He brought him in, right? And Carlo left before that. Marco Silva was brought in to work with Marcel Brands. That was taken out of Marcel Brands' hands. Farhad Moshiri has destroyed this football club. All these negative headlines you read are about bad accounting, bad money, Russian money. Who let the Russian money in? Why is USM in the club? Why is Megaphone in the club? Why is the club so poorly run that it's now on the verge of failing, or has been on the verge of failing? FFP, Premier League's rules on FFP for the last 2 years. Who allowed these players to be bought? Who allowed players to be brought in for 30, 40, 50, nearly 50 million pound on long contracts, on high wages, who are absolutely dross? There's only one man, his name is Farhad Moshiri, and he's on the brink of destroying our football club. And I will not, it's up to you who else you want to blame, right? But he has systematically destroyed this football club with his mismanagement and his not being able to see that the people who run the club are nowhere near capable. Denise Barrett-Baxendale, Bill Kenwright, these people are not capable of running our football club, well, running a Premier League football club, and he's allowed to continue running the football club. He is a fucking joke, this man, and we've allowed him to run our club into the ground. So I won't have anyone say Frank Lampard or Rafa Benitez or Carlo Ancelotti or anybody. There's only one constant in all this, and it is Farhad Moshiri. And it's honest to God, I can't wait till the day he sells this club, because it needs to be put in the hands of someone who's an actual rational thinker, who will allow someone to run the club properly, a director of football to run the club, a CEO to run the club, a capable CEO, a capable chairman. Because at the moment, we don't have capable people. You know, Kevin Fellwell's just come into the club. I don't know whether it's too late for our current circumstances, but this is all on Farhad Moshiri, and if people can't see that, then maybe they're a little bit too far gone as well. There you go. Right, we've got Loz.
Okay. And just hang on. Anthony Elsman says just heard we will be getting sanctions because FFP point deduction. We don't believe.
Just heard from where?
Don't know. Just ignore anything that says points deduction because it's nonsense at the moment.
Mate, the Esks has sorted it.
Yeah. He knows. Paul's had Simon Jordan off. Simon Jordan come out with this morning, and Paulie Esk has made Simon Jordan change his mind now and go, well, actually, if Everton can show that it was that and that, they won't get any points deduction, they mightn't even get sanctioned. So something that was a big story this morning is already dying in the afternoon. So
the Esk has not only had his trousers down, but he's also got Simon Jordan's highlights out of his hair. That's how much he's had him off.
Fair enough. Let's leave it there.
Right, we've got Loz on the line.
And I like Simon Jordan, but he's way off the mark in this one.
Have we got Loz on the line? Ned?
Hello, Loz. Hello,
Jim.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can hear you now, mate.
Can hear you now, mate.
Off you go.
Yeah, we called, but now you've gone off again.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Now you're back. Go on.
Go on.
I'm back.
Yeah.
So it was kind of on what Ped was talking about a bit then, actually. It was on Moshiri, and do you think we have to go down for Moshiri to realise he's not doing a good job? Because nothing's convinced him so far, has it? Obviously, the big summer spending when he was like, we've got our own Fab Four, and the Fab Four was Toshin, Balassi, Sigurdsson, Rooney. I don't know if you remember that, but even at the time, I remember fans going, maybe you might want to, calm down a bit there, Mosh. So he did that failed.
Yeah.
Bought in Brands, didn't listen to him. And then obviously the biggest one was bringing in Rafa after obviously the fans going, we don't want Rafa, he's crap. Obviously without the Liverpool connection. And he still thinks he's doing a good job. I mean, even the latest signings, which, but Van der Beek, I'm quite happy with a loan, but Malenko and Patterson, buying two players that aren't ready to go in the first team, and it's not on them, and the price we got for them are quite good. If we were at Chelsea, even if we were like a Southampton, we could probably afford to bed those players in, but in the right in the middle of a relegation scrap, and obviously he signs off on signing two players that he must have had either no idea about, or he thought that they were going to be able to go into the first team. When even fans knew, we were like, yeah, these will be good for the future. Patterson, he's played European football. Will he be able to go straight into the Premier League? Not many players can, and especially not many players can go into a relegation fight with a team that have got like no confidence, and obviously the best players keep getting injured. So if we go down, I wonder if that will be the wake-up call for him to go, do you know what? I'm not really good at this football, like. Maybe I'll start listening to people, because, even if he just thinks, for self-preservation, my investment is I'm not going to get anything back on this investment if we're going to be, bottom of the championship or whatever we are.
I think...
so the question is, do you think it will wake him up?
Well, I really hope it doesn't, because I really hope it doesn't matter. It doesn't happen. Because simple fact is, would it wake him up? Well, I imagine it would wake him up quite considerably, because if Everton were to be relegated, then his just from an ego point of view, his ego is on the floor, isn't it? If it is a measuring competition, his is going to look very small and shriveled up, isn't it? If we suddenly become a championship team, let's hope it never comes to that, because I think the problem is that all the problems we've spoke about are manageable while we're in the Premier League. They're all manageable. All these things we're talking about are manageable, because money will be coming through the door. We'll be able to get rid of players. We'll be able to bring players in. It'll all be manageable, because you've got a guaranteed 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 million pound coming through the door every year. The minute you drop to the Championship, you kiss goodbye to 80% of that money and you've still got players on big money, so you have to sell them. But because everyone knows you're desperate, then it becomes a fire sale. So you're not getting in what you're asking for, and suddenly everything then becomes a race against time. And me and Baz spoke about this, and Everton could probably get away with 1 year in the Championship, just about.
But that would be it.
But that would be it financially. After that, we're dead in the water. Our liabilities are hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds that we would have to fulfil, and we simply wouldn't have the money. And then you find yourself in a Sunderland situation, or where Leeds were, and then he has to, if he wants to keep Everton going, is somehow bring his own money into it. Well, he can't do that anymore because he's just found this loophole. His loophole has just left the station, hasn't it? His little loophole of bringing money in has just been closed up by an international war. So, and it doesn't get any more visual than that, you know. So I'd love to think that he's awake to the idea of what is happening at Everton Football Club, and he understands the consequences. And I don't know what that can offer in the short term, but if he's not awake to what's going on right now, then he never will be awake, because by the time he does get awake, it'll all be too late for me. What do you think, Baz?
Yeah, listen, we're in a mess, and we've been going. Let's be honest, you know, I'll keep harping back to it, but since David Moyes left, we've been on a downward trend, haven't we, in terms of the way we had a handle on the club. So Martinez come in and we had a good first season, and then from then the next two, given the players we had at his disposal, weren't great. And Bill Kenwright, the board, whoever, got far up Machirian, and we thought everything was going to be good from there. Mistakes were made early on. Ronald Koeman, they offered him the job, had second thoughts. Why didn't he back out then? They didn't back out because they wanted to save face. But he should have backed out because they weren't convinced by him after offering him the job. It's been going, you know, treading water. We've got the managerial appointments wrong. We've got the director of football appointments wrong. We haven't bought athletic players, which is what this league needs. And all of that, we've given players too much money. We bid against ourselves. The list is there. You know, in defence of Ronald Koeman, did Ronald Koeman really... Was he desperate for Gylfi Sigurdsson?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was Marco Silva desperate for Alex Iwobi? He wanted Wilf Zaha. Was he desperate for Alex? Or did he? I don't know. Maybe they don't. Well, I think he would have liked him.
He just didn't want Ghana to leave.
He wanted a few players. But was he desperate for Iwobi? No, I don't think he was. We then, when that didn't work out for Marco Silva, we offered David Moyes the job. And when David Moyes was about to take the job, because Carlo Ancelotti became available, we went after him. So we were already changing tact. And this has been the problem. And I'm not saying, listen, I understand why Machiri went for Carlo Ancelotti. I absolutely understand it. The sprinkling of gold dust and hoping it'd turn. But we keep changing tact. And until he realises, and I hope it was at Christmas time when they've tried to change the board a little bit, and they've got advice from Tim Cahill, and he's got Frank Lampard and the coaching staff in, and he's got Kevin Thelwell in. I hope that's them trying to change tact. I'm not convinced, but I hope it is. But right now, we are in a mess. It's dead easy. The one thing I would say, it's dead easy now when we're in this big hole to fire bullets at everyone as well. It's dead easy. That's why the press are doing it. We're doing it now, aren't we, as fans? We're looking and going, it's his fault, it's his fault, it's his fault. We're in a mess, and nothing, in my opinion, can be corrected until the summer. And the only way we can correct it is to keep our head above water, stay up. We're in a race with Leeds and Burnley and Brentford and Newcastle still, and Watford. Norwich, I think, are gone personally, but we're in a race with those other people. We've simply got to win more games than 3 of them. And if we do that, we will stay up. And then the time then comes in the summer for the clear out, for the inquest. I hope and I think it'll happen. I think Frank Lampard will make some tough, I say tough decisions. I think he's seen the other night, they're not up to it. These players aren't up to it. You're going to be chased in the summer. But he can't do it right now. You know, I know what you're saying, Lars, about Mykolenko and Patterson, but I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. I wanted Patterson and wanted him to go straight in, so I'm not going to say he's not ready. We probably shouldn't have got him. We should have absolutely bought him. We should have got him in the summer, and we didn't. Mykolenko, yeah, that was a bit of a left field one, but apparently Brands liked him and Benitez liked him, and Benitez fell out with Luca Dean, so for once Everton actually got ahead of a situation and bought a player in a position before they lost one, but Mykolenko's not up to speed, so I get that. So we're still making mistakes. But I think Mashiri has got to, if he's not going to sell it just now, he's got to let people get on with their job. There's no point bringing like Kevin Thelwell in and going, hang on, Mr. Thelwell, I've got a better idea. This fella over here is better than what you're suggesting, or whatever it may be. Put the money in, keep your nose out of it, and start being more demanding on people like Denise Barrett-Baxendale, on Bill Kenwright as a chairman. What's happening on your watch? You're the chairman. What the fuck is going on your watch? Same with Denise Barrett-Baxendale. What's happening? Where's these commercial partners? We've lost this amount of money. How are you replacing that? And start chasing everybody. Start being more demanding, because it just feels like in some parts of our football club, it's too comfortable. And you can see it in some of those players the other night. It's too comfortable. It's too comfortable for Seamus Coleman. It's too comfortable for Mason Holgate and Michael Keane and John Joe Kenny and players walking around the pitch. Every one of them should be running through brick walls. And I'll pull Seamus back out of that, because I've said many times, I don't think it's Seamus's attitude whatsoever. It's just his body's letting him down. It's not his attitude. I think he wants to give everything. But he's part of it as well.
The club have like put him in that position.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, how much of a servant he's been. You know, expecting is he 33 now?
30, almost 34.
Yeah,
and a bad injury.
After suffering a absolutely horrific injury as well. You know, people don't realise how much of an injury like that has an impact on you. You know, it took him. It was a year out the game. You know, physically, mentally. You know, he's lost a yard of pace because of it, naturally, because of the injuries, losing it because of his age, and he's just, as a player, they've completely mishandled the situation. You know, I think Patterson's really, really good, in terms of his age and everything, and I think what he can achieve. But by not having that crossover player a couple of years beforehand, the problem is Frank Lampard looks at someone like Seamus, and he looks at him for leadership and commitment and heart, and he's got all that. And then he looks at everyone else and sees that they haven't got it, and it's like, well, how do I not put him in the team, I imagine? That's one of the big things. You can rely on him for everything else. And he's been all right in the home games. And that's where we are as a club. You look around the pitch for leadership, and if you're struggling to look past Seamus Coleman, who on the pitch isn't playing very well, that's a very dangerous place to be in.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of a decent quality right back or any wing back that's over like 30, because it's just not a position where there's midfield. You know, you can be decent in midfield when you're 32, 33. Same with centre back, but you know, right back in the modern game, you know, you've got to be up and down, or otherwise, you know, that whole right side has been a problem for years, hasn't it?
You seen it the other night. He was up against Session's 23, something like that.
I don't think he's that old.
So he's
20, 22,
early 20s lad who is like lightning and doesn't have to be amazing footballer. All he has to do is just get up and down that wing. And we see this now with the modern fullback. The modern fullback is the winger, isn't it? They push on and they push on and they push on. They get up and down. They get up and down. And we're going to have to make a choice on that position very, very soon of whether we stick or we twist. But yeah, it's
this again of just Paul Lawson saying here, you know, it's just been on the radio. We're getting the points. We're not getting the points. What's going on?
Station?
What's going on?
The same one that's pandering that's been pushing the narrative all day.
Yeah,
Loz, thanks for your call, mate. Nice fantastic for getting.
Nice to speak to you.
Nice one, mate. Take it easy, mate. Listen, if it's that radio station, the national radio station that likes talking about sport, then they will push that, because all they're doing is pushing their own narrative of go back and listen to when this person and that person talked about it. They do it all the time. They recycle their own news. They're
getting people listening now, aren't
they? Have chats, and then they use it as news, and then go and listen to this show where this person...
Paul said Radio City News. Well, then Radio City are idiots because it's not happening, so they've made themselves look stupid.
I haven't listened to Radio City since...
No. But anyway, it is what it is, isn't it? Just having a look here. Matt Syme has said something that I said this morning when someone asked me about the points deduction. We've already had our points deduction this season. It's called VAR. And if Everton had been given the correct number of VAR decisions, they'd be clear of any relegation worries right now. So Everton could quite easy, because I'd seen someone, and listen, this is fanciful, of course, but I'd seen someone say Everton could literally take the Premier League and the PGMOL to court over the wrong decisions that cost them the thing, which is nonsense.
Just on the points deduction, mate. In the rules, it does say you can have a points deduction, right? So on one hand, there's the punishment, right? And on the other hand, here's the crime, right? So Everton have committed the crime. But where we are right now is in the first punishment. And the punishment is they manage our books, essentially. They watch the books, they keep an eye on the books. We have to ask them permission for every move we make in the transfer market. Can we buy this player? No, you can't. That's how I'm led to believe it works, right? So
just look at the bottom two. So they've already spoken to the Premier League.
So we're in a punishment phase now, which is everything has to be run through the Premier League.
Yeah.
So we're on the fit.
We're on the naughty step.
Someone put it out before, the punishments, and we are literally on the naughty step at the moment. So they monitor everything we do. So it's a case of now we can't buy players without almost like the permission of the Premier League, which happens of course when you buy a player. Everything has to be managed. What the article said was Everton could get points deducted because we've done it again, right? Well, number one, COVID happened, so you've got to take that into consideration. The accounts that come out this year are not from the year that's just gone. They're from the previous year, aren't they? Overlapping.
It'll be our year ended last June, won't it?
Yeah, so it's from June, isn't it?
From June last year.
So that's a whole season of COVID. So our losses fans will be huge.
They're huge, yeah.
And Simon Jordan was having an argument with the blogger The Esk before. And Simon Jordan, who said this early on this morning, said that Everton could get points deducted. The Esk has spoken to him, and Simon Jordan has come to the conclusion that he is right, because he has said Everton can factor in. Because don't forget, right, when Everton got the planning permission for the stadium, that meant any money we spent on the stadium went from being in our accounts to the stadium accounts. So if Everton can factor that in, take that off our books, that'll probably make the books look a lot nicer. The 100 million debt, I don't know where that factors in, that he wiped, I don't think they'll be in it. But so apparently there's no change, nothing has happened, we are exactly where we were, everything's been run by the Premier League, it has to be, we're on the naughty step. And unfortunately, the naughty step means that buying probably means selling first. So if we were to come to the summer and we wanted new players, we'd probably have to sell a Dominic Calvert-Lewin or a Richarlison or a Jordan Pickford before we did anything. And like we sold Luca Dean. And that's where we are right now. Our punishment is we can't really buy players without selling players. That's where we are. We have no expenditure. We have no excess expenditure. We're right on the limit. So we have to get more players. Again, this goes back to people talking about James Rodriguez, £200,000 a week. If we continued that and had a season like this, or even had an average season, we'd probably have toppled over. At the end of the season, we know we're losing at least 4 players who are going. Wages gone. John Joe might make 5. And then there's a chance for Gomez. There's a chance Mina. There's a chance Rondon. You know, one of the goalkeepers, Andy Lonergan, who won't be on much, but there's another one. And you might find then we get rid of 6, 7, 8 players in the summer. And then hopefully those wages start coming down again and again and again. And we might have a little bit of a breathing room, maybe. And hopefully we'll still be in the Premier League. But we are where we are. We're on the naughty step, and that's where we are right now. So, could we have points deducted if we were to break rules? Yeah, but we're currently not breaking those rules. So, we should be fine. So, it's just all hype. All hype.
It's getting everyone's back up. It's getting people phoning in to those stations. It's getting people flapping over it. That's the way it is.
Right, we've got Bill. Bill.
Excellent. Let's go then.
Bill, are you there, my friend?
Hello there.
Go on, Bill.
Hello?
Yeah,
hello, Bill.
Go on, Bill.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you now.
All right, lads. Long-time listener.
First time caller.
First time caller, yeah.
Love the show, lads.
I've been an Everton fan since early 90s, probably, when my uncle used to take me. But I've rung up because I've got a few things to say.
Go on, mate.
Go on.
All right. I believe Everton are a lesson in how not to run a football club in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I'm despondent. I've written all this out, by the way.
Go on. We want to hear it all,
I
mate.
feel like we have the stench of relegation for the past couple of months. We've been plummeting all season. Is it 1 win away from home all season? A few draws?
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
right.
lack of fights. There's a lack of leaders. While teams like Burnley are fighting for their lives. Where's the characters? Where's the Dave Watsons, the Alan Stubbs? You know, where's even the Barry Huns or the Eberls of this world? You know, they weren't skillful players. They weren't, you know, they didn't have Instagram, but they put their foot in, didn't they? Put their foot in.
Exactly.
We've been dire away from home all season. We haven't been put a run together since the first month. Our only hope is our home form, and when we do play well, we get robbed like against City. We're in big trouble in the league and in a financial hole that you've been talking about. And the root of that is mismanagement from the top down, as you have mentioned. I think the recruitment, like you also be talking about, is one of the biggest ones. We have one centre-back of the required quality. His name is Mr. Mina. He's never fit. Keane is a liability. A confidence player with no confidence. The Tin Man makes mistakes all the time. We have 2 fullbacks who can't get up and down the field. So we haven't got the pace. When we're playing away, in midfield isn't athletic enough, as Baz often talks about, or fit for purpose in this league. The players like Iwobi been disastrous signings. We've got Ali and Al Ghazi sitting on the bench. And we're in desperate need of a defensive midfielder or a centre-back. We have a lack of fight, as I mentioned. We've got a lack of leaders. We've got Dom, who isn't fit. He doesn't look fit. He hasn't looked fit all season. Would you start bringing in Alexa Branthwaite? Would you bring in Patterson? Would you bring in Milkalenko? We might as well start doing something. And, I just think it's been going on for years, and the away form is killing us. And this season especially, because the home form has dropped off a cliff as well. So there you go. I mean, it started with Benitez, didn't it, this season? And we've been on a downward momentum ever since. And I need convincing that we're not going to get relegated and do a Leeds, a Sunderland, and be never seen of again in the Premier League. And that'll be a tragedy. As fans, we don't deserve that. But it feels like, to me, maybe I'm despondent, maybe I've just given up. But it feels like if the players are going to give up, then, you know, what are we fighting for?
Well,
we need to get something going at home if we're going to survive, and it's not going to be a sort of a doom, a tragedy that we're sleepwalking into currently. What do you think?
Well,
there you go.
All right.
My soliloquy.
Right, that's fine. That's fine. Some great points. 2 things. Leeds are in the Premier League, so
Well,
they did come back.
For how many years?
No, I
10
know.
years?
I know. I'm only 16. It was actually. No, listen. I think I don't know whether I'm going to convince you that we'll stay up, because I don't know whether I can convince myself. But what I would say is, you're right. We haven't had a run of any sort all season. I said this to Ped today. Other teams have garnered together 3 or 4, games where they've got points out of. So I expect Everton will do that at some stage. I hope so. Well, you've got to hope, haven't you? If we give up, what I would say, Bill, is if we throw the towel in, then we really are relegated, because the only way.
I still believe at home we've got enough, but it's like even when we play well, we seem to be gut punched, don't we?
Well, we've got a lot. Listen, we've had 4 home games under Frank Lampard, and we've won 3 of them.
Lampard.
Yeah, we've won 3 of them, and we've lost 1 that we shouldn't have lost, and that was against the best team in the land. And we were cruelly beaten. Away from home, we've been pathetic, utterly pathetic. But we were utterly pathetic before he came in. This is why I see people going, he's naive.
I'm not blaming him.
No, I know you're not. I know, and I'm certainly not. But people have said he's naive or whatever. They're forgetting. 2 weeks before, we went to a team that hadn't scored a goal for about 3 months or something. Norwich had been crap for months. And Benitez was in charge. We got destroyed. In the first half, second half was a bit better. We lost the game. And it's games like Norwich. Had we took a point there and a point in these other games, we'd have been fine. I read Brighton's things out.
We crumble.
We do.
If one goes in, we crumble.
It's about resilience. I read some. Brighton have won 7 games. Everton have won 6. And yet Brighton aren't in any threat of relegation at all, because they've drawn a lot of games and we haven't. We've lost a lot. We didn't lose the other night by 1 goal, but we've lost a lot of away games by the odd goal and home games. And that's resilience.
Where do you think that comes from, though? Is it personality?
It's resilience, Bill. It's sticking together. It's not letting your head go down the minute. Put it this way, Burnley go a goal down in their next game, they won't throw the towel in. They might lose the game, but they won't throw the towel in. And that's what Everton have got to get used to doing, is that even if... you know what I think it is? And I think we do this as fans, and I certainly do it. Right, we go into a game where I'm thinking we can win this game. Right, we go 1-0 down, and I go, we've lost. It's over. Right, and we might have 40 minutes left of the game, or we might have, as the other case, we had 77 minutes left the other night when Michael Keane scored. And if Everton players just went, and this is what someone mentioned Sam Allardyce before, this is what he drilled into his teams, right? Is that you stay in the game. Because if you get to the 90th minute and get a corner and you equalise, you get a point. Yeah. And that gives you something to cling on to.
We keep collapsing away from home, especially.
Because I think they can win the game. And when they go behind, they don't believe they can.
When we went 1-0, we were 1-0 down at Southampton with 20 minutes to go, and no one believed. No one looked on the pitch like they believed. They weren't going gung-ho to get a goal.
No.
They didn't score
the game.
They didn't score their second goal till the 82nd minute. We could have had a corner, free kicks, anything. Exactly. One moment. We never play for those.
We played at home when we play against somebody. If they get one, we're worrying, aren't we?
Of course. But that's don't forget as well. The one thing I would say, and you can debate whether footballers Everton plays are good or they're not good. You can debate it all day long, right? And we can say he's terrible and he's not good enough, but he's brilliant and he's great and whatever, right? But the biggest thing you can't negate, you can't kind of quantify at times, is confidence. And you see this with some teams. Newcastle were one of the, genuinely, them first 4 months, one of the worst Premier League teams I've ever seen. They were worse than us, and that's saying something. They were crap. And Eddie Howe has got them to start nicking points here and there. Now, they're confident. So they're a difficult game.
Do you think part of that, though, is like not just the leadership, but also the physical ability? That players like Coleman and Keane and others as well, it feels like, especially away from home, it's going to take a lot of a physical effort.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe there's an element of they think they haven't got it in their legs.
I think you've got to be athletic when you play away from home. I think
that's
if you're
what I'm saying about the fullbacks, maybe get the fullbacks in.
If you're gonna chase a game, because you genuinely do away, don't you? You're chasing the game because the opposition, in general, unless you're a top club, have more of the ball. So to chase a game and to be a counter-attacking team, you have to have athletic players to get up and down. Yep. Whereas at home, I think because Everton have a lot of the ball, well, Everton have had more of the ball, not a lot. More of the ball under Lampard. With the crowd, that gives you that extra energy. I think it's harder away, running up and down if the crowd are against you. So you do need the athleticism.
He wants to play football, doesn't he? He wants to do the Martinez. He wants to pass out. So you've got to have confidence there, haven't you?
Confidence to do it. And I think at the minute we're a massive confidence issue at Everton, as well as not being great resolution. No resolute or whatever.
We can't defend. That's the top and bottom of it, isn't it? We can't defend, and we don't trust them. I look at the players on the pitch, and I look at them looking at the defenders, and they don't look like they trust the defenders to defend. So if you can't trust your defenders,
then get everyone back then behind the ball, particularly away.
And this is why I said Lampard was naive on Monday, because to me, if you look at a set of players and you think this lot can't play the way I want to play, then you have to change it for certain games. And I think that's something. And I think actually what was mad, I think Benitez struggled with that as well. And the only game he ever set us up to actually defend him.
We had a defensive manager and he wasn't very good at it, was he?
And the only game he ever set us up to defend him was the Chelsea game, and we got a point out of it. Because he said that.
That's the blueprint, isn't it?
He said that night.
Performance away from home, dig in. That's the Moyes performance.
Because we had no players, and he was like, right, we're going to have to go 5 at the back, and we have to dig in, and we're going to just try and keep.
Who was good that day? Who was good? Branthwaite.
Branthwaite was excellent, yeah.
But so was Keane.
He needs to run.
But so was
a good game that day.
I know he's a kid, but he needs to run in the team.
I think you're right. I think we've come to a point now where you can't dismiss players. I said last week I didn't think any of those players had played themselves into the game, but I think these other players have played themselves out of the team. I think Coleman's played himself out of the team. I think Keane's massively played himself out. And Mason Holgate, obviously, I don't know if we can replace all of them at once, but I think certainly this week...
Back three, maybe. A back three.
I think we will go to a 3, to be honest. I think we will go to a 3. I think he hinted that on Monday night. I think when Ben Godfrey comes
back Sunday,
we'll go to a 3. Like, so. But it'll be interesting to see what that's... That'll be interesting to see what that makeup of the 3 is, whether he goes to Godfrey, Branthwaite, and one more. I'd leave Keane out because I just think confidence-wise, he's gone. I think he's gone. And once he's gone, I'd never bring him back because I just think he's abysmal. So... there you go.
I hope we can stay up anyway, lads.
Well, we all hope that, mate.
Fingers crossed, mate.
That's all I can say. I was meant to be coming to the Newcastle game, and that got called off. So there you go. Because all my family live up in on the Wirral. So
there you go, mate. Where you calling from?
Cardiff.
There you go.
Fair play. Do you know Mathew Barry?
Has he tried to sell you a car?
A few chats with him on
there
Twitter
you go.
About, like, you know,
another Cardiff Everton.
Our gloom.
He's a top man. He's a top man.
There you go.
Yeah, he's
Bill,
a lovely guy.
Thanks for your call, mate.
Nice one, Bill. Appreciate that, mate. Take care.
Brilliant.
Love to the family. Love to the family.
See you later. Love the Toffee. See you later, Bill. Cheers, pal, to that.
Ned, why have you put bless you on the thing?
Kev.
I thought that was like we were getting someone on called bless you.
Yeah. Big T. Kev Rex says that's done. That's me done with talks, but they've really hacked me off this morning reporting false news about Everton. Thank God for you guys and John for setting the record straight. All these Reds in the press and the media loving the situation we find ourselves in at the moment, and they're rubbing salt into the open wounds. They need to get a life. Why are they so hung up on us when they're going for the quadruple? I honestly think they hate the fact we're getting a new stadium. They've got to be the most deluded and petty fan base in all of football. As for Jim White and Simon Jordan on TalkSport, maybe they've got the hump because Mashiri has stopped talking to Jim about everything Everton. So they have made stuff up too. Why didn't he just text Mashiri and say, Farhad, what's all this?
Why would you, though, when you can...
Yeah, of course.
Once you do that, your story's dead.
Yeah, of course. They want to peddle it, don't they? They don't care if there's any truth in it or anything.
Well, there is truth in it because one of the punishments...
There's a grain of truth in it.
No, but what I'm saying, one of the punishments is points deduction. So they've got this thing over here,
which is the worst case scenario. Yeah.
And I haven't remembered that there's 3 steps in between.
Yeah.
Right, we've got Matt on the line. Matt, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, mate. Go on.
All right, lads. Well, first of all, I'm in Toronto, so it's great.
Oh, Toronto. What?
You look as miserable as I.
Yeah, I am absolutely.
He is. I'm not.
Honestly,
he is.
Honestly, keep me away from bridges and razor blades. That's all I'm saying.
He is struggling, but. And how are you, mate? Anyway.
Well, I'm all right. We're all stuck home right now with COVID. we got back from Florida last week. We tested at the border, and he hit us with a 10-day stay-at-home order.
Well, you went to Florida. That was, I mean, if you want COVID, that's the place to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 100% chance of getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody cares down there.
No.
Did you have a good time in Florida, though? I love Florida.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was roasting. We went to Disney.
Oh, what a place.
Have you been to Florida? You've never mentioned it.
No. Well, you know what? It's going to be 3 years since I've been, so it feels like I haven't been. But anyway, Matt, go on, mate. You know, this is a much happier and nicer subject to talk about. But I know we haven't done Florida calling at the moment, so go on, mate. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think we'll stay up this year. I don't think we'll stay up comfortably, but I think we're going to manage it. But I want to know, like, what's next year going to look like? Like, how do we fix this situation? With our financial, I mean, obviously we need a top class centre half. We need we need a Virgin van Dijk. We need a Rio Ferdinand. We need a John Terry. We need somebody of that ilk to transform this team. But can we afford it? Like, what can we do?
I'll be honest, right? I don't think we need a top class centre back. Not a top class. I think we need a adequate centre back. I think we need but genuinely, I think we need like a halfway one. We're not going to get an amazing one, but I honestly believe if you were to look at the Premier League right now, who are the top class centre backs? Because a lot of teams have centre backs that are just normal, everyday organisers and one of them's got a bit of pace, and the other one's is good in the air, and they manage between them. And look at the difference Yerry Mina makes for us. We're talking, I think our win rate goes up to something like 40% when Yerry Mina plays because the guy's aggressive, he can organise. Players don't like playing against him because he's niggly, and he's good in the air and he's good in both boxes. And I look around and I think there's a few of them out there. They're not like, I think people don't. I mean, I think we've all realised now, but our centre backs are utterly dire, like really, really terrible. And we were talking about before, me and Mathew was saying, know what? Even if in January we'd brought in someone like Shane Duffy, who you could rely on to just play at centre back and organise, someone with a bit of experience. Tarkowski at Burnley, someone with a bit of experience. These kind of players. I think you're absolutely right. It'd be amazing to have an absolute top class one. But I think a decent one would elevate this football team. Someone that Ben Godfrey could play next to and learn off. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think Ben Godfrey's a naturally talented defender. I think he's mobile, fast, he's aggressive, but I don't think he's an amazing defender. But imagine him or Brandthwaite learning off someone who'd been around for a few years, who was just a really good defender without all the bells and whistles. And I think that's something we're massively missing out on. I think, look at Jagielka. Jagielka wasn't an amazing centre-back in terms of what... You wouldn't put him on a podium next to a Van Dijk or a Rio, even though Moyes said he was. But yeah. Jags was reliable. He was an organiser, and he was good in the air, and he was just a good defender. And I think that's what we need.
We'd be 3-0 up, and Jags would throw his face in front of the ball to stop a goal. Like, it's that kind of attitude we don't seem to have right now. It doesn't matter where on the pitch. Like, we don't have it in a number 6. We don't have it in the centre half. We don't have that steel determination.
There's one out there right now, right? And if we could get him in the summer, I'd go and get him. I don't know if we could get him or not. And I've said this before, and I've had people say different things. But Connor Cody at Wolves is exactly what we need. And I'm not asked whether people think he's crap or whatever. He is exactly what we need. He is the kind of football player who, we've seen it this season when they played Liverpool. Jota's just got an open goal. No, he blocks it. He is that kind of player who puts his body on the line. He can organise. All right, he's not amazing. He's not an amazing footballer, but he's got that kind of never say die attitude. Takes pride in getting clean sheets. And he's
sums it up for you when Anthony Gordon legs back 50 yards to save a goal. Like, Anthony Gordon's the one doing that.
Exactly. Pride. That's pride. That's pride in the club you play for. While we've got a centre back who loves kicking the ball into his own net when there's not actually any danger. So I would.
Goal record.
So I would love someone to just come in and just make us organised and solid, and it would be amazing. I mean, the crime of it.
I'd like us to aim higher than like just a
Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm talking. I'm talking financially though. We're not in that market, are we, at the moment? But there's good centre backs out there that we could get that aren't seen as the greatest players in the world. But I tell you what, they would make our defence so much better straight away.
Yeah.
Just having a leader in there.
We thought Ben Godfrey was going to be it, but you know he's still rough, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
still got a few things to work on.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of lad you put next to your organiser.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He's the kind of fella, he's your pace. He's the fella who gets back. I mean, look at Jags and Distan. Distan wasn't a great defender in it, but he had the pace to get back, and he made a really good partnership. You know, before
Dave Watson.
Yeah, you had Lescott in Jags was the same. Lescott had pace. He would pick the ball up and run. He had a little bit of elegance about him. Jags was the guy. This is the problem for years and years. Everton had a centre back. No, it was Brian LeBone, and then it was Mick Lyons, and then it was Kevin Ratcliffe, and then it was Dave Watson, and then it was David Weir, Alan Stubbs. They passed it on to Phil Jagielka, and then it sort of ended with Phil Jagielka. And ever since Jags left, we haven't had that steady captain leader at the back that you can hang your hat on. We've had Ashley Williams, and we've had, you know, all these different. Keane was supposed to be that man, but look at him, he's been here for 4 or 5 years and he's still frightened of his own shadow. And
I think in training and technically Keane probably looks alright, but he's just missing that character, isn't he, that you need to get through games. Like technically probably yes, but leadership wise, and that's a position where you need a leader, like Keane's just not it.
Keane, I've said it for years, literally. Keane, the fact that Keane isn't Everton's captain and hasn't wore the captain's armband for, like, say, 100 appearances, he's probably wore it twice, tells me everything I need to know about that lad. And it's not about heart or anything like that. I'm not saying he hasn't got any heart. He's just not a leader. And that tells me that at 29 as a centre-back for Everton, you're nothing. Yeah. You're useless to me. You're useless to me.
And when we can see the goal, you'd like to see more than a facial expression. You'd like to see some anger or something from him.
Yeah,
it is mad because there's not loads of great centre backs around, but there's probably ones in the Championship who can stop us. We of course we all want better. We want there's defenders in Serie A who are really good. France has some tremendous defenders. Everton did try to get Diallo from PSG, of course, on deadline day on loan, but. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's just we need something. But at the moment, someone just said, the transfer window's closed, so we've got what we've got. So we need to
get into
we need
Russia and get some.
We need to come up with a way of playing that can grind out results, and that might be getting Jarrett Branthwaite in the side and playing with 3 at the back. Godfrey obviously will be back and gives everything, and is fast, so he's got you that pace. We've still got to have people alongside them as well. It's just obviously devastating that Yerry Mina is always injured because we could have done with him over.
He's perfect, isn't he?
Well,
but
he's the leader, isn't he? Wins everything, heads everything. He's nasty. He engages the strikers into mind games and all of that.
But he's made of glass.
But that's it.
He is.
Gets an injury and then that's it. He's out for months and never comes back. So,
lads,
cheers, Matt. Thanks for your call,
nice one,
and hope you all get well soon.
Yeah, stay safe. Loads of fluids.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. To that.
There you go, Matt, with COVID in Toronto. That's,
got on and got
the worldwide phoning.
Got some stuff off his chest.
Hopefully not COVID.
A few people weren't happy with the Toffee shout. We were talking about a style of a centre back. It wasn't. We should break the bank for Shane Duffy.
No. Hang on. I'm not being funny. If we had Shane Duffy now, he would moonwalk into our defence, like literally moonwalk.
No, but what we were saying was there's that Lewis Dunk I'd have rather than Shane Duffy, to be fair, but we were never getting him. Dan Bernard I probably
I wouldn't have bought him, by the way.
No, you're just saying that kind of, there's that, what Everton are lacking just right now is that sort of defender.
Yeah.
You know, in whatever, Tarkovsky, you mentioned him, someone like that right now, going forward and trying to progress as a club. You need miles better than that. But we haven't got even that type of like defender in reserve, have we, to go throw him in, he'll throw his head in the way and he'll organise. They're all quiet, our defender, or they all seem to be like that. We need physical presence is at the back, and without Mina, we don't have any.
Sorry, I was just thinking of. I'm going to get all the Twitter people now telling me that I said we should buy Shane Duffy.
No, but you didn't. We were just discussing a type
of
centre
but
back.
That's the point. I'm saying that if Everton had gone and got him, say, a Shane Duffy in January, I think he'd walk into our team. That's the point I'm saying. There's players out there. I'm not saying we'd be fantastic to have a Virgil van Dijk, and we should have bought him when we had the chance. We're never going to get Virgil van Dijk players, the Champions League players. What I'm saying is there's a lot of good players out there. And that's why I say about Connor Cody. Connor Cody would be our best centre-back by 2 villages.
But he's an organiser as well.
He's an organiser, and he puts his body on the line, and he's that kind. And there's other players out there. He's just someone who springs to mind because we're playing Wolves. But he's someone who springs to mind because he's that kind of player. And that's what it's taking the first step, isn't it, to getting what you need.
Yeah. Terry Maddox, a stopper, an organiser, a voice. We don't have that at all. And that's exactly what we're saying. Yeah. It can be any. It doesn't have to be Shane. It didn't have to be Shane Duffy. It didn't have to be Lewis Dunk. It didn't have to be Tarkovsky. But we need someone who is... who can get in and organise those players around them. That's what you need. Moving forward, of course, you need quality. They're not good enough to take your club forward.
No.
But even in the Championship, if Everton, the unthinkable happened and Everton dropped, you'd need that kind of defender in there because you're up against aerial bombardments with some teams and different things. We haven't got that type of defender in our makeup, and that's what we need.
Right, we've got Degsy on the line.
Hi, guys.
Degsy,
hello,
go on,
Degs,
mate.
you all right, mate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't going to call in tonight, but I thought I had to. Unfortunately. Sunday, I think if Godfrey's fit and Branthwaite's about, they've got to be in. I'd rather have 2 young lads like that try 100%. And if they make a mistake, they make a mistake. But they'll give everything.
Yeah.
And they'll try. And they'll push their bodies and they'll go for it. Because Keane and Holgate, their heads aren't there. They've lost it.
Yeah.
They've lost everything. You know that you're going to get a mistake from Keane. And his head will drop, and that's the end of Keane.
Yeah.
Whereas with Branthwaite and Godfrey, yes, they may make a mistake. But they'll try to rectify it still within the game. They'll keep going. And I think those 2 have got to come in on Sunday.
Would you bring them in as a 3 or would you play them as a 2? Degs?
No, I would try to make a 3-man defense somehow.
Yeah.
And then play. I don't know whether this is popular or not. I would probably, again, because of leadership, I would probably keep Coleman in the side.
Okay.
Only because of leadership.
Yeah.
I think it is too early for Patterson. He did show glimpses, but the ball wasn't there. The service wasn't there.
Yeah.
I'd be dropping DCL.
Yeah.
And I'd be going with Anthony, Richarlison, and if he's fit, 1.7 million absolute hero up front.
Yeah.
That guy's got to be the steal of the century, and then try to make a midfield 3.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And I think there's a team there then, and that's the way I'd love them to go. Whether they do or not, that's another thing. But the other point I'd like to make is this season has gone. I'm not talking about us now. I'm talking about at the top.
The bottom.
I'm talking about the teams at the top now has gone per how you would expect it. So there's not been anything to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the press are jumping on us as the biggest story of the season. That a club like Everton, with its tradition, with the time and the points it's made, it's topping everything. Could go down.
It's also Degs.
And I think that's the story that the press are looking at.
Well, you said yesterday, didn't you, that they were saying, will Everton be the biggest club ever to be relegated?
Yeah. But you also, though, in terms of like how things work, they look to relate one story to another, Degs. So they will look to Everton, and there are links, of course, with Russia. So they will take one story. What's the biggest story in the world right now is Ukraine, of course it is, and Russia. So you can link Everton back to Russia with USM, and it all play. You know, the way media works now, and the way trend or what's trending and all this keywords and everything, it all plays into the hands of the same thing. Everton are a big story at the moment, partly because of the USM links. Chelsea have quietened it down very, very quick.
It's amazing, isn't it, considering that they are actually owned.
But Abramovich was very, very smart. You know, the day before the cup final, when he knew that there would be some kind of symbolism towards Ukraine, he said he was leaving. So that meant that there was going to be no awkwardness in the cup final. He could get on with it. And now, because he said he's selling, it's all about, well, he's done the right thing and all that crap. Whereas Everton, it's still sort of the question marks are, how will Everton survive without this money, this Russian money and all this kind of stuff? And it all plays into each other, and it's the media love it, they lap it up. They need things to put in. You know, we used to say to sell newspapers. It's not to sell newspapers anymore. It's to get people to go on their websites. And we are. Listen, we were the last team to play in the Premier League this week. You know, Tottenham won 5-0, but who cares about Tottenham? You know what I mean? Let's talk about Everton. Let's put more mud on them, and that's where we are.
I know it's been a gripe with everybody in the past, especially yourselves, with Denise Baxendale as our CEO. She's a charity person. She's done an amazing job with that. But should she be running a professional football club? Should she have been the person that should have been the voice of the club? Because she is the CEO, whether we like her or not. She should have come out and defended the club and stated that Usmanov is not and never has been a shareholder, an owner, or any part of the club. He's been a sponsor. Whether we know that the money's coming from other places or not, he's never been a shareholder of Everton Football Club. So he's never been an owner. Now, do you remember when Usmanov and Mashiri had all that money in Arsenal? And what did Kroenke say? He would never allow Usmanov or Mashiri on the board of the Arsenal Football Club. Why? Is it something that he knew about, that the business was terrible, the acumen was bad, and he didn't want Arsenal Football Club doing? Yes, you can give us some money, but you're never going to get your fingers in the pie, mate, because we want to keep our club running. Yeah,
subjective, I think, on that one, because I think Arsenal, the power was between those two sides. Whoever got the power was going to own the club, and Kroenke wanted the club, and he couldn't let those two in. But going back to what you said about Denise Barrett-Baxendale, you know, Denise Barrett-Baxendale and Everton were very, very vocal when they were the white knights, they were the saviours, because they came out against the clubs that all wanted to leave. And yet now the foot, you know, shoes on the other foot, they are very quiet. Why aren't the club defending themselves? Why aren't the club coming out going, hang on, no. We've done the right thing. We've removed those sponsors. You know, why not defend yourself?
Yeah. In fact, Everton, the week before, actually asked the Premier League about Usmanov, didn't they? Otherwise, you know, they asked her and they went into it. And they asked about it, and that's why we had one game with all the stuff back still on, because they were told that Usmanov, because he wasn't an owner, had nothing to do with it, and so they were quite happy. But as soon as Usmanov, they hit the press, and everybody, you know, in the Houses of Parliament said Usmanov is an oligarch, then Everton, you know, it had to happen, and we responded to it very quickly. But we should have done as a club and actually come out, as Chelsea did, made statements.
Chelsea's statements weren't very particularly good, but I know what you mean.
Statements.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
I think Everton are sort of probably playing the game of we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. If we keep our heads down, we'll get through this. And they probably still feel like that. They probably look at the articles today and think, well, hang on, there's Champions League games tonight and there's Premier League games tomorrow. By the weekend, this will all have died down and it won't be a story. And if we can win on Sunday, we can generate positive headlines. And ultimately, we feel it because we're Evertonians. We're in the midst of it. It hurts us. It feels like a pile-on at the moment.
Yeah.
But other fans of other clubs might be like, whatever. Not really
as a football club, that we've always done our business behind closed doors, haven't we? It's always been the case at Everton. I mean, we used to always, our signatures, our signings, you never heard about them until the day, you know, that it came out. Yeah. It was something we've always done. But, you know, what I'm amazed is at the moment that we're not actually, we haven't got big floodlights on Liver Building showing a figure of Batman at the top or something. Do you know what I mean?
That'll keep the chat away from.
Everton won't go down because we've got Batman looking after our buildings. Do you know what I mean? But there we go.
Thanks
thanks.
Great,
guys.
Great for your call, mate. Thanks very much.
Nice one. Till our Degs. Till our mate.
See you later.
Bye bye, guys. Bye bye.
He's ever in good form.
Good man. One of the other things as well about what should be noted about that FFP kind of stuff, or that thing, is that for Everton to have completed the Dele Alli deal, Everton had to speak to the Premier League to get it ratified, because there was a bit of a thing. So they needed to make sure that they were able to do it within their guidelines, which is what
they have to rubber stamp it all. They don't rubber stamp stuff if it's not done.
That's why it was done like that. But that's the way it is, isn't it? People, you know, these people have got, their business model is to create clickbait, isn't it? Yeah. And them journalists want lots of clicks. Everton are the big story at the moment because Abramovich, whether he's got friends in the media or whatever, to just take the edges off it and put it up for sale. He can go, well, I've put it up for sale. It's up to other people. I'm selling it. You know. They've been able to roll with it, Chelsea, and they're at the top, and they're in the Champions League, so it's harder to. We're Everton's an easy touch. We're a big club. We're in relegation worries. We've got this stuff hanging around us. It's easy in some respects to come after us and kill us because we're not fighting back properly, are we? And that's the way it is. Don't get me wrong. We've given them the opportunity to do it. It's not. They haven't just come for us for no reason. We've given them the opportunity to do it.
That's the problem, isn't it?
But they're also able to do whatever. FFP, Steve K says FFP okay for City and Chelsea though. Well, that's it, mate, isn't it? It's the whole thing with profit and sustainability. FFP is to keep the clubs that they want near the top and not allow anyone to gain any traction with it. When really, if you actually think it,
can I just tell you something very quickly? The Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer's just come out. Has it? Yeah.
There you go. I mean, literally not important.
No, well, you know, in the great world, I think it's very important.
These
are the things I get joy out of.
Well, that's fine.
I haven't got any other
we've got 8 minutes left.
Stop the count.
And John M says the rubber stamped Newcastle takeover, and we know it isn't. It's there's loads of stuff wrong with
interesting. Just if you want me to stay on this track, and you'll like this.
Go on.
Do you know there's 2 countries that are not opposing Russia's actions and are regularly in contact with Putin and refuse to take phone calls from Joe Biden?
You will shock me if you say Newcastle isn't one of them.
Well, one is Saudi Arabia and one may be the place where the Manchester City owners come from.
There you go. So, that's what it's about. But the Premier League won't say anything about those two, will they? And that's the way it is. And you look at the Sky, the Sly Six rather, and they were just allowed to try to wreck football, and then it was just a case of, please come back. There's no £3 million fine for clubs that are on ridiculous, that they'll go, well, it's all right, we'll get you on the telly once and that's paid for it. It's all bollocks. So, the fact that Matt Hughes from the Daily Mail, he needs to start doing some, of his investigation work into the likes of Newcastle and into the likes of other clubs as well. But it is what it is, and we have to go forward with it. But the whole thing's nonsense anyway, because it's sustainability is the key word there. That's what the rules are there for. The rules aren't there to make sure you likes of Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Man City are kept at the top. The rules aren't there for that. The rules are to be make sure your club is sustainable. If you've got an owner who says, listen, my club is sustainable, I've got all this money, all this wealth, and I'll make sure that we are still here for the fans so I don't put the club in jeopardy, then how should we be breaching financial, fair play rules? I get it. You don't want to go, well, Newcastle or Everton or City or whoever can spend 500 million this summer without any. I understand that, but you could put caps in place for that kind of thing. But to actually say your club is breaching something when you can afford to pay what you're paying is berserk to me. It's absolutely berserk. But there you go. What can you say?
There you go.
King Hoddle says a club of your size and history should not be getting relegated. Let's hope it's 3 from Norwich, Burnley, Watford and Brentford. Nice. I assume he's a Tottenham fan. Maybe. Or it might be a Chelsea fan. Glenn Hoddle, obviously. Unless his name's just Jim Hoddle and he's called himself King Hoddle, which is nice. Anyway.
Swindon?
Or Swindon?
Monaco?
Monaco, maybe.
Because
there was other good Monaco players.
Well, France were very synonymous with kings.
They were, yeah. Maybe he's friends. Well, fair enough. He's a Monaco fan. Fair play.
King.
What do you think about Niko Kovac? That's what I would say.
Did he sack him?
He did, because he played someone they wanted to sell.
Oh, the lad from... Yeah.
Bez 2K says that Super League says that Super League has been forgotten about. Literally nothing happened. These clubs are still winning domestic leagues and titles, yet they wanted to leave. Absolutely, mate. And it just got battered off as if, remember that last week when they pranked us saying they were leaving, and that was it. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Tatooine. That barren, desolate land.
Basically the same.
Tatooine. Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
3 minutes to go. Let me do a couple of...
We got Chris.
We got Chris. Final one of the night.
Quick call from... Well, don't take your time, Chris. Just get your point across.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
What do you want to say, Chris?
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah. Go on, mate.
In the words of Obi-Wan, hello there.
There you go. That's wasted on Baz.
I know Obi-Wan is. I'm just not excited.
To be fair, I was distracted. As soon as you mentioned the trailer was coming out, I did.
There you go.
We've got to
have some joy in our lives, haven't we? For God's sake, we've got to have a little bit of joy.
We're not getting it from our bloody football club, are we?
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello.
By the way, that was a request from, I'm guessing, Ned was asking me to do that. Is it Ned who's on that?
Yeah. It's guy, quite young sounding guy, a bit of a simpleton. Yeah, that's Ned. Yeah.
Go on, mate.
I was going to say, I can see what Degs is saying about having the back five just to try and plug that gap. The only thing for me is I don't think we solve the situation by just adding more frauds to the situation than we already need. So for me, I still kind of think it needs to be a back four. It needs to be a back four, which I can't stand the idea of having Michael Keane and Mason Holgate in there again. I really can't. If he is a back four, who would you guys go for?
Godfrey's got to be in it.
Yeah. Godfrey.
With who's fit?
Branthwaite. Michaelenko. And as we're at home,
you're gonna say
I probably would say Seamus Coleman. Just because we're at home. Because I do think I do think that he's still at home. Just got the because I can't see it. I can't see how you can change an entire back four. I just don't think you can do that.
Would you play Branthwaite and Godfrey as the two then? Two centre backs in that?
Why not? What?
Yeah, it's not like the other two.
Yeah, the other two, honest to God.
Yeah,
you could have Ned and Camp back there. It wouldn't make a difference, would it?
No.
So
that's who I'd go for as well, to be honest. I mean, I was reading somewhere that John Joe Kenny apparently played centre back, and I'm at a point where I was going to think I'd even rather him than either of those two at the moment, because if you watch the goal back as well, the one that we conceded. If Seamus can't run as much as he can, if you look at the way Holgate is actually running to that space, I don't even think he's sprinting fast enough to try and cover it himself. So for me, that first goal, Holgate is one of the biggest fault for it.
Well, we said they should have gone. He should have gone and covered the near post to clear it, and he didn't. He just stood still. And Keane should never have swung a leg at it either. But you've got to help your teammates out. And maybe Ped's right. Maybe Seamus does stay in, and Michaelenko comes in to give you that balance at left back with the left foot. And maybe you do go. Godfrey will play, I imagine. Frank Lampard's mentioned him many a time. I think he'll play. Jared Branthwaite, why not? The other two aren't pulling up any trees, so why not?
Yeah, you could see his attitude from Branthwaite as well. As soon as he came on the pitch, they conceded, but he was furious. You could see it like in it, like when I was watching it on TV, he was so angry with like his back line. And when he conceded, you can actually see it actually hurt him as well. And then you just get like I don't know if you guys can see my face on the camera, but it's just like you conceded again. Like,
no, that's it. That is it.
I started laughing when the 5th goal went in, because it stopped hurting now. It's like I'm just like laughing at the screen whenever we play badly, because I'm half expecting it. Yeah. And it's like, for anyone who was saying, like, because a couple of people were saying on Monday or Tuesday that they're like, will cry, like, basically almost like crying after the game and stuff, because it's like how bad the situation is. Do you know what? It's like, over the past 2 years, football has been one of the things that we've had that like keep us entertained and to look forward to. Like, tears are justified if this team which you've loved for years are giving you this. You are entitled to, like, as a man, cry, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because the team has been ridiculous. We haven't been able to get even just an average side this season. It's pathetic, and it's the squad depth is pathetic, and that's the thing that needs changing. But we've got to just keep our heads above water by hook or by crook to the summer, stay up, and let the manager get on and the director of football get on with, because we're going to have to turn this squad around, and that may be making some sales and replacing with younger, different type of players and going a different way. And I honestly, when I look at this squad, it's not as if this team's really good and we're going to lose players and we're going to be crying. We're rubbish with these players, so you may as well sell, bring in younger ones and remodel the team and see what you get from there.
Next season could be absolutely huge.
Could be totally different
for Anthony Gordon, Dobbin, Branthwaite,
on Yango,
the two
maybe
full-backs, and Yango sprinkled in with a few we've got in there now, and it could be huge for them.
Could be totally different, couldn't it?
Could be hot sensation.
We could be everyone's favourite second team.
We could be.
Even the Daily Mail like us.
Oh, the Daily Mail.
No, hang on.
Daily Mail. They love us and Nazis. Well,
there you go.
Allegedly. Honestly, the second that report came out, I looked at the source and it said Daily Mail. So
that's the best way to look at it, mate.
Exactly.
The Daily Mail.
The
Daily Mail.
It's literally not worth your attention.
No.
And also for the guys who are like saying that they don't think Frank is the right man, it's like he's barely been in the job. It was like when Rafa got sacked, I wasn't exactly optimistic because I knew we would still be stuck with the same bunch of players, and we're still in that situation now. So, and if you look, what a lot of people are also forgetting about Frank at the moment is he's surrounded by himself with some really good people as well. So give him this. If we give the summer. We get like some players are going to go. Hopefully, we'll get like who we need in. And for the love of all that, I can't swear on the show, but you guys can obviously. But for the love of anything, get some centre backs in. If we can improve in that area, if we plug that hole, like there's enough attacking wise and the likes of Gray and the likes of Gordon, like assuming Richie stays, like if Daly develops into the midfielder or the number 10, we saw him in his early Tottenham career. There's a lot attacking wise we've still got which can work. So the main thing is if we sort that out next season we'll be fine. But it's obviously getting to next season.
That's it.
And anything we can do as fans, like when we are at Goodison, we can just try and
absolutely. It can't come quick enough. Get to the summer, stay up, and then just press the reset button and change it round. But
Chris, cheers.
Lovely to talk to you, mate. Top man.
See you. Cheers,
mate. All right, cheers. See you, pal. King Coddle is a Tottenham fan. I did say Spurs straight away. Right. He said Spurs, never Chelsea. And also said, I've got to say, though, how on earth is Holgate playing for you?
Because there's nobody else.
Yeah.
But that might change this week.
Who knows?
Just play all the kids.
Who knows?
Any more comments on Patreon?
On Patreon, I've just done a refresh there. Gray Lee says Obi-Wan is very important.
It is. I've actually got it set up to play on the TV the second we finish. Because I know Baz. Oh, hang on!
I can't wait.
You're the fella who went to the Millennium Falcon and said, "This is my childhood dream."
It was as a kid.
Was it? Yeah.
I'm not now. I'm not interested in all these backstories. Terrible, isn't it? That's probably. You know what? The whole thing's probably brilliant. I just haven't jumped on it, and therefore I feel like it's gone away from me. A bit like Everton with the Premier League.
It's gone to a galaxy
far away. So there you go. Right. What's he talking
I don't know.
I'm going to jump on, actually, yeah.
No,
right, we'll see you later. Nice one. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up before you go. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Bye.